Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, I want to ask, is it that we have done with HTML?
So if you are doing backend,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't need HTML.
Okay.
It's the front end guy that will do the HTML. So backend is much more like you are writing code for the front end to consume your services. So the architecture of a normal web application. Let me share my screen. Whiteboard. Can we continue? If you want us to continue, say hi. So that
Hi.
who want us to
Hi.
continue?
Hi.
Right. It's just 4 people out of 12 people. I'm scared before they will say we are in democracy and we're doing obey rules of law.
Okay, we are here. Let's continue.
All right, so
Democracy.
I'm going to share my screen now. Confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's up now.
All right, so in a typical web application, there's always 2 parts to your development. There is server side. This server, I draw it like this because I want it to represent the cloud. And then, you said?
Not you, sir. Continue.
All right, so, and there's a part that we call client side. So client side is not like this wrong diagram. It's much more like your personal PC, your mobile phone, your desktop computer, and other devices. It could be a television. This is mobile phone. Mobile phone. This is mobile phone. This is mobile phone. This is your personal, your laptop, or a PC. And this could be your desktop. This could be your TV, television, and some other things like that. They all communicate to the internet. And then what they are talking to is the cloud. They talk to the cloud. There is a communication between them and the cloud.
So are you recording, sir?
Yes, I'm recording, sir.
Okay, sir.
All right, they all communicate to the cloud. And then I'm recording.
All right, sir.
All right, so they all communicate to the cloud. And then if you are doing front-end development, this is where you are developing. You are developing things that is going to be working on mobile. You're developing things that will be working on the laptop or will be working on the TV. So for now, we are targeting the web, which is what is going to be running on our browsers. And then this is the front end. Front end. And then for the guys that are developing in the back end, we have the back end here. So this is the back end developer. This is where they will be operating. So anything that is running in cloud is running on a server. It's running on a server. And then if we are saying server is somebody else's computer on another network that you need to communicate to from the internet. It's not, there's nothing special about it. It's just a computer somewhere that you are running and somebody is communicating to it. So we have applications that run on the server side, and then those applications that runs on server side are Java, we have PHP, we have Node.js, which is indirectly a JavaScript. And then we have C#, and many more. But for the front end, what runs there is just HTML, CSS, and then we have JavaScript. So when JavaScript run on the server, you won't call it JavaScript again. They will say it's Node.js. Are you guys with me?
Okay, yes, sir.
They will say it's
Yes, sir.
Node.js. So it's always good to have a dedicated developer doing this part and a dedicated developer doing this part. And then there are some people that will say, I can do the two parts. If you can do the two parts, it's fine. But when a project is very large, doing the two parts will be very stressful. For one person, you can have close to 8 developer, 12 developer on a project. Some will be doing front end, some will be doing back end. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other question? So I will take the silence for no questions.
Okay.
So,
Question, sir.
all right, tell me.
Sorry, sir. Is it possible to code in the query side of the access and bring it to the SQL, sir?
All right. So the MySQL that you are doing now, or let me say the SQL that you just finished now, what you've learned is actually enough for you to survive as a backend developer. So those queries that you are learning now, we are going to be embedding it into Node.js to give information to the guys in the front. So there will be database somewhere here. This is the symbol they use to represent database most time. This is it. There will be database somewhere here. And then this, our Node.js will be communicating to the database. So those code that you are writing, at some point, we will be embedding it into Node.js to give information to this guy here. But they won't talk to Node.js directly. They will be talking to a server. And then that one will be serving them the information. So that is how the whole thing is engineered. So that's why I say that we are teaching you the fragment of technology that you put together to form a complete application. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. So I will start the class proper. I was expecting close to 18 people or 20 people in the class. I only have 13. And Farouk. All right, let me start. So I mentioned that you should install Node.js on your system. And then most of the things we'll be doing around, I will not be going to the browser to run JavaScript now. I will assume that will mature to some level that we can do some things on our own. So to make it more interactive and make you understand what I'll be doing most, I have put the code that I'll be using for the samples. I've put it on the repo. So I will share the repo link here. So you can go to the repo and then get the code there. I will tell you where you'll see it, and then you can copy it and then use it. So the repo link is this. So if you don't know how to download something from GitHub, it's not difficult. Let me show you. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What are you saying,
Yes,
please?
sir. I seen the manual. Okay, it has changed.
All right, so you are seeing the browser, right?
Yes, we
sir.
can see the browser now.
Yeah, I've shared the link. So these are the codes that I've written. Some of it will change. So if it changes, I'll commit and push again. But for now, most of these things are things that I'll be talking about. When I was preparing this slide, I tried to write some code so that it will be easier for you. So if you've not downloaded anything from this URL before, under this green code, you will see download zip file there. You download the zip file, When you finish downloading the zip file, you will unzip it and open it with Visual Studio. So this is me. I've downloaded it. I go to the directory that is downloaded in, which is inside my download, and this is it. I right click, I unzip here, extract file.
Where do we get the link for this?
I just share
I've
it.
shared it in this
Just shared
in
it.
this meeting.
Sorry,
I've
sir.
shared
Can you
it with
just repeat that process again?
Right,
Sir,
it's not a complex process.
All right.
it is
And
not.
we
Sir,
took-
are we to download that to follow the class now? Or we download later?
No. I'm saying that if you need to follow the class right now, you can, but it's going to take us time if I say you should be following the class. But most of the
Okay,
things that I'll be
fine.
doing so that you get this code later. Do you
Okay.
get? So most of the things
Okay.
I'll be doing will be here. If I move too fast and you want to quickly check what I've done somewhere, you can use this
Okay.
code. But don't worry, I will record this session. I'm recording already. You can rewatch it later. Are we good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, like I said, I will be running my code using Node.js that I told you to install the other time.
Okay.
And then the code that I'm working on is actually here on this particular file that I say you should download it. And then I'm going to start by creating a file that will say hello world, so that we'll use Node.js to run it. And you see how you can run things in Node.js. So I'm going to create a file here, and I'm going to call it start point. All right, let me use this. I'm going to create a folder. I'll call it starts point. So inside the start point, I'm going to create a file that will be a JavaScript file. I call it lab1.javascript. I'm sure Farouk took this the last time he's taking the class, and then I don't need to explain everything. So Farouk did something and he's saying that console.log. And this is how he did hello world that he did the other time. Hello world. All right, so if you do hello world, if you want to run this code, you will see a tab here. It's called terminal. If you click on terminal, you say new terminal. If you create new terminal, the terminal is going to open and point to the root folder of the Visual Studio that you opened. And then I can say, if I want to run this code, because I've installed Node.js before, I'll be able to say node. I'll be able to say node, and I'll say lab one. Is this inside start point? I'll need to change directory to start point. And then when I go inside start point, I'll be able to say node and then run lab one. When I run this, I will see hello world here. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just see.
What did you say?
No, sir. Let's continue.
All right, so you'll be able to see hello world here. So I can decide to put some decoration on top of my hello world so that you see what I'm saying. I want to just show that I have hello world there. I'm going to put just hash. So it will show a distinct something. All right. All right, so you can see that I can output hello world here instead of me going to the browser. So for the backend guys, most of the time you'll be running your code like this. And then for the front end guys, quite a number of time you'll be running your code like this because you'll be using Node or NPM, Node Module Manager, to install and manage your processes. So when you move forward to React and then you move up to React, and then if you are doing backend, most of the time, this is how you'll be running your code. So I'll stick to this and then we'll go forward from there. So let me paint a scenario. Assuming you are an accountant and you are working for a financial organization, and then your duty is to do simple interest for the customer, calculate the simple interest. So I was able to get the formula for simple interest, and this is what it looks like. Is the parent times time times rate divided by 100, and that is simple interest. If I want to code this particular formula out, this is how I'm going to code it out. I will say, let me say, I say, hello world, comma, welcome to simple interest application. I'm saying that I want to develop an application that will calculate simple interest. So if I'm developing an application that will calculate simple interest, how do I do it? The formula for simple interest is very clear here. It's PTR divided by 100. So I can say that let's simple interest be equals to parent times time times rate. They should all be in bracket divided by 100. And that will give me simple interest. Okay, let me save that. All right. So this is the formula to calculate the simple interest. Do we all agree with this?
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So there's no dispute. And then I have a kind of a need for me to define what the parent is, define what time is and what rate is, so that this formula will be able, because if I run this, it's not going to give me a desired result. You see, it's saying that we did not define parent, not define time and rate. So I need to define the three property. I can say var principal or parents. Principal is 1 million. 1 million. I can say principal is 1 million. I can say time is just 1 year. Time is just 2, let me say 2. And then the rate is 11%. I can say that the rate is equals to 11. And then if I calculate this, I want to see the answer. I can say simple. I can bring this thing here and say the simple interest is, I'll put a column here and concatenate the value of this. Yes?
So we are coming back, we're together.
Are you talking to me?
No, sir, continue, sir.
All right, so if I run this particular code, it's going to show me the simple interest. I click here, I run it, and you can see that I have the simple interest on this particular amount of money. It means that on 1 million, I'm going to be paying interest of 220,000 based on the interest rate of 11%. So if I reduce the interest rate to 5%, the simple interest will reduce. So it's reduced to 100,000. So if you are an accountant in an organization and there's a task for you to keep calculating the simple interest, you can automate it by doing this. There will be some situation where you need to say, okay, I want to attach the name of the person to it so that I will know who owns this simple interest. So I can say like the customer underscore name is equals to Farouk Ahmed like money. I can say Farouk Ahmed. So yeah, I'll just concatenate it somewhere. The simple interest for I can concatenate here and put Farouk Ahmed here. put Farouk Ahmed there. And then it's going to say the simple interest for Farouk Ahmed is this. So we know the simple interest for Farouk Ahmed. Who understand this very well? Who doesn't understand it very well? If you understand it very well, say hi so that I can move forward.
Hi, sir.
2
Hi.
or it's only 4 people that understand it.
My hi is included.
Oh, we understand.
That's fine. Should I start calling him? I want to know the sleeping member of the class. I'll start
Number
calling.
one is on the screen, sir.
Ikem, are you there?
I'm there.
Do you understand this?
Not really, Shao.
All right, which part is not clear?
That is where I kind of skipped that part where you change from the normal folder to the Node.js. That's my own.
All right, so the simple thing is that if you want to run a Node.js application, the file you want to run, you have to be in that directory. And then you just use the command node and the name of the file that you want to run.
This master, you the one that wrote that one. This start point master.
Start point master. Yeah, that's start point. I'm the one that wrote this start point. I created the start point from the file I cloned from the repo.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
All right. I will start calling them if you don't understand, talk. Or else we'll fight. All right, let me assume that everybody understands at this point. So as an accountant, you have 1 million people to calculate their interest, simple interest. Who can tell me how I'm going to do it? Let's say I have 1 million people, or we have subscriber base like 1 million, and they all want loan. They say I should calculate their simple interest. How do I do it?
I think you use loop.
I will use loop, Abi.
Yes.
Answer number 1, he advised that we use loop, right? All right. So who else has any other suggestion?
We define a function.
Correct. That is where I want to go. So
We define a function.
when a function is becoming repeated over and over again, you need a function to put that particular task in it. That is where functions come in. How do I define a function? If I want to define a function, I will just say function simple interest, bracket, open bracket, close. And then I'll do this. And then if you look at it very well, I can copy the entire thing I have here and put it inside this function. If I put it inside this function and I run this function, it will not display anything because I did not invoke the function. I'm going to run it and you see what I'm talking about. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see what I'm typing, Abi?
We can't see. Sir.
No, we cannot see your type. Yeah, we can see.
You can see I type node,
No.
I type node, and I say lab1. That is how to run this particular file. The name of the file and lab1. So if you want to run it, you have to be in that directory. If I run this, it won't display anything for me. You see, I didn't see anything because I did not invoke this function. So if I need to invoke this function, I will invoke it by calling its name and putting this open and close brackets here. I will just do like this and put a column here. If I do this, it's going to call the function by itself like this. And then I have the simple interest. So there is a situation where I have a lot of name. I don't want to go and be editing this function. And then I have their principal, I have their time, I have their rate. I can pass it as a kind of parameter. Parameter means like when you are sending, let's say you are sending an envelope to somebody, you are sending a message to someone, you put something in the envelope. What you put in the envelope is like the parameters. So I need to pass the customer name. These are the variables I need here to calculate the simple interest. I need the name of the customer, I need the parent, and the principal, I need the time, and I need the rate. So I can pass those things as a parameter here. That's the customer name. I can pass the parent. I can pass the parent. I can pass the T, I can pass the R. So it means that I want them to invoke this, when I invoke this, I pass this as parameter. Parameter means that you are sending a message to someone and the content of the message is this. So respectively, you put this particular variable inside this place. And then it means that I don't need to initiate these guys here again.
Okay.
So if I'm not initiating it here, how would the system know that these are the name of the people I want to send the message to? So to make it know, I need to put it before I call the function so that this guy will be able to use it to send it to this place when he's sending it. So if I run this, it's going to invoke the function and pass the parameter to it. You can see it's still the same thing as what we have earlier. So before I move further, I would like to know if there's any question. If you have any question, let me see your hands up, and then we'll look at it. We'll take another step further. Any question?
Sir, can you
Yes.
please repeat from the function, sir?
All right. You understand that we wrote a function. Let me undo what we have here so that you understand. This is where we stopped. This is where we stopped. This is where we stopped. You understand how we calculated the simple interest?
Yes,
and
sir.
I have a question. If we have to be repeating this and over, how do we do it? And Mohammed suggested that we should use a function. I agree with him, because when you have quite a number of things that you are doing over and over again, you turn it to a function so that it will be reusable instead of you rewriting the function. So if I did not do that, if I want to calculate simple interest for somebody else, let's say I want to calculate for Razak. If I want to calculate for Razak, Razak is a son to Farouk Ahmed. And then he is taking 100,000. And then I will have to be repeating this code. If I want to calculate simple interest for somebody else again, let's say I want to calculate for Mohammed, and he's taking 10 million. Mohammed is a big man. He's taking 10 million. I will have to be doing this code over and over again. So it means that if I want to run it, I will do this, and I will have to get the value like this. So to avoid doing multiple or repeated code, I introduce a function so that at any point in time, I'll just call the function and the entire things that I need will come with it. So I now say that if you want to initialize a function, you say function, and then you name your function, and then I want to say simple interest. That's how to initialize a function. And then I'll initialize the function. I copy the entire code I have here, and I put it here. If I leave these guys here, there's a terms that they use in programming. They call it hard-coded. If something is hard-coded, it can never be dynamic. So I now say that, okay, if I want to invoke this function, I will just come here and then invoke it here. If I run this code, it's going to do the same thing that we had the other time. And then if I want to use it for multiple people, I won't be able to use it because these guys are hard-coded. They are not dynamic.
Yes.
To make it dynamic, I need to be able to pass these guys as parameter into the function. As parameter into the function, I will have P I will have T, and I'll have R,
Um,
the PTR. And then the guy that is calling them has to pass this parameter there, because if it pass there, it's going to get an error. I'll put it there. And then the variables that they need to pass along, the guy calling them has to have it. So I've put it there. And then when I run this, I have the same result as what I wanted. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Who doesn't understand that? Don't be shy. We are all students.
Could you run over it again? I got confused at some point.
Tell me where you get confused.
So you brought this parameters out of where it was before. It's the same
Yeah.
thing, right? Nothing
Yes,
has
yeah,
changed.
yeah. It's the same thing. I brought it out and put it here.
Okay, so it's still hard coded. It's not
Please
dynamic
scroll-
yet.
okay.
So yeah, it's not hard coded. So let's assume that you've done MySQL, right? Let's assume that you have something that goes to the database, and then fetch all the customers that we have there. Do you understand? You just need to loop it at this point. Like the other person said, I've forgotten his name, that he said, we just need to loop it at this point and be passing this guy as a parameter into it. Do you understand?
How, sir?
Dayo, do you understand?
Maybe when we go on, I'll catch that.
All right. So in a way, this is still hard-coded though. This guy is hard-coded. It's not dynamic. It's hard-coded. If that's what you want to bring out, it's hard-coded. But it's not at function
Okay,
level.
okay.
More
All right, got
dynamic
it.
like this than that. So if I'm talking to the database at this point, the data will come from the database, and I'll be able to put this guy in a loop and then loop through it and pass parameter to this guy and get it done. Are we good?
We are good, sir.
All right, thank you. So I think we've been able to talk about function. That is where Razak stopped last week. That is function.
Exactly.
So we have different kind of functions.
Yes, sir.
The type of functions that we have are named function. The function that I just created now is a named function. So
Sorry,
we have
sir.
another function that is called anonymous. Anonymous function, if you look at the file that I shared, I have all the functions there. Anonymous function is much more like a function that doesn't have a name. And then you just call it. So this function that we called here, if we want to turn it to an anonymous function, instead of us declaring that function and put the name of the function here, we turn that function to like a variable. So if I want to make this guy an anonymous function now, if I want to make it an anonymous function now, I will say, let me change this name to anonymous simple interest. Anonymous simple interest. So instead of me putting a function here, I will follow this convention by saying just function, and then the parameter I want to pass, and then it's just going to be like this. Just going to be like this. Just going to be like this. But the name of the function will be a variable, and I'll do like this. This is how I would do it. Instead of doing what I did the other time, this is an anonymous function. So to invoke an anonymous function is not different from the way we invoke the function here the other time. It's not different. And then I can just copy this name, and instead of saying simple interest, it just be anonymous function. There's no difference.
It's just from the definition that is a difference.
So to be sincere, they are doing the same thing. So if the one you are comfortable with is this, keep using it till you understand this. But if you see somebody else using it in their code, you will understand and be able to read it. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if I run this code, you will see that it will display simple interest twice. One is from the normal name function, and the other one is anonymous function, which is what I put here. So that is how to use an anonymous function. So the third function that I have here is arrow function. Arrow function is simple. I have a sample code for it too. So this is what we have as arrow function. Instead of saying function, you will not say function in any way. Like anonymous function, we mention function there. Arrow function, you just open bracket, pass the parameter, do a syntax that looks like an arrow, which is equals to and greater than, and then you open bracket and close bracket. That is your function. So to apply it to our simple interest example that we have, arrow function will just be like, let me say, I want to do an arrow function here. I want to do an arrow function here. Arrow function will just be like this. I will remove this and I will just say equals to or greater than, and then this is my function. And then let me change this to arrow. Arrow. And then if you see this, if you understand what I'm saying, you see that they're almost the same thing.
Just the same thing.
We are not changing anything. It's just a style of saying I
Definition.
can do a VC with my code. They are doing the same thing. So if you look at it, this is the arrow interest, this is anonymous interest, and this is the previous one we did. They are almost the same thing. This is arrow function. Does anybody has a question?
Yes, sir. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Hold on, please. Hold on, please.
Okay.
All right, what's the question?
Okay, the question is not this, I understand the arrow function, or the function you're talking about. But before you move to this place, I thought you want to give us how you are going to calculate for like 100 people when you move all those ones that you called that they cannot be changed when you move them down.
Let's be going small.
Okay, hello, sir.
Okay.
Let's be going small. Don't be in
Okay.
a...
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, okay, sir. The functions that we are explaining now, sir, is there any instance where one can be used and the other one will be neglected also? Or we
Sir,
can
they
use
can
them
be used.
interchangeably?
Anyone that you want to use it.
Oh, okay.
So there are some cases. The truth is there are some cases, for example, if you are working with some library, you'll be using these guys a lot. You'll be
Arrow.
using anonymous and arrow
Okay.
functions. You'll be
Okay.
using them a lot. But if you are the owner of your code, you can decide what you use.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Come again, sir.
I am saying that when you move to React or you move to backend Node.js, you'll be
Yes.
using arrow function, you'll be using anonymous function a lot.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. So another function that I have here is immediate invoke function expression. Immediate invoke function expression. This is the example. This is much more like you declare the function and the parameters that will call the function followed it immediately. So example that I have here, all this example is runnable if you want to try it. You can run it, but I would like to relate it to what we have here. So this is the immediate what's it called? Immediate invocable function. It takes the function. If you want to relate it to this, the parameters just come in here. The parameters come in here. And then I will copy the entire thing I have here and put it here. So you don't need to declare the way I declare here to invoke it. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So you just
Yes,
pass
sir.
these guys into it. So this is it. You just run it like this. That is how to call it. So this one is like immediate invocable, they have a short form for it. Immediate invocable. Invoke able function. So this is immediate invocable function. So if I run this too, it behaves the way the others work. So you can see immediate invocable that I put here. And also calculate the simple interest the way the others calculated. Come here, I want to remove this. All right. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are seeing your screen.
So that is how it works. So they are almost the same thing. You'll be seeing it a lot when you move forward. And then it's not difficult. They are things that they just created to make it look like it's different. So, and then I have constructor function. So in advanced object-oriented programming language, object-oriented programming languages are the language that treat everything like an object. What am I trying to say? A very good example is that if they want to develop a class or a kind of application and they want to develop some kind of functionality into it, they treat every attribute and every actions on that particular development as an object. That's the best way to explain it. For example, if I want to develop an application that will allow human being to be able to function, I'm going to have an attribute eye, attribute nose, attribute ear, attribute skin, and all other main organs in human being. And then to be able to function, I can have a kind of function that will allow you to speak, function that will allow you to talk, function that will allow you to walk, function that will allow. So that is what an object-oriented literally means in non-academic style. So we now have a function that they call constructor function. So that function treats a function like a class. So when you have a function like this, it's going to treat it like a class. And then any attribute that we have in that class is going to be initializing it like, it's going to take that attribute out and relate with it. So a very good example of that is if we don't want to output this particular interest like this, we are going to have to initialize a function and output it. Can you mute yourself if you are not talking? So example of that is this. I will copy this guy. I'll bring it here. It's very related to what we have here. The first items that we have here. Very related to it. I'm going to just copy this guy. And then replace this with it. So I will say objects. I'll say object function simple interest. So if I have this like this, instead of me outputting these guys here, I will not output it here. Instead of me outputting these guys here, I will not output it here. I'll just say this, and then just say this, and I'll say this dots simple interest. Simple interest. This is how I'll do it. And then I can invoke it like this. I can invoke it like this and pass the necessary parameter to it. Pass the necessary parameter to it. Pass the necessary parameter to it. I call it SM. And then to output this to customer, I'll just say this. and then put SI here. Let me comment all other things that I have up out so that I will see what I'm outputting. So this one is just going to calculate the simple interest and output it. So this is like initializing an object. Like I said, this is an attribute of this particular object, treating a function like an object. When you get to class, you understand this better. But this is just treating this particular variable as an object of this particular function. And then when I run this, you will see the interest of this particular guy. There's an error somewhere. Customer name, I did not define customer name. It's not defined. Okay, I did not define it where. What's the error saying? New customer. Okay, I did not define the customer name. All right, let me remove the customer name. Was others defined? Okay, I need to define these guys because I've commented where it was defined out. I defined it here. It was defined there. Let me uncomment this part. All right. So I have this to run, and then it's showing me this is the interest. So I can bring these guys I have here and say the interest for so person is this. So you can have this and comment it. And then I can say the interest for this guy is this. So I have this. If I run this, it's going to show me the interest of this guy is this. So that is how to use an object function. So we call it construction function. I would like us to look at this again. And if you have any questions, I will answer it. So
Last one, start with first and last.
are you talking to me?
What is the shortcut that you're using to comment and uncomment?
Okay, you are seeing it now. It's doing magic. Control forward slash.
Again?
Who is asking that question? You pay for that. It's control forward slash.
Like
Control
the Professor Pella's type now. So like
Control forward
forward slash.
Control forward
Okay.
slash.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Control forward slash. So who doesn't understand this? Is it clear to everyone? All right, so I would like to move forward. This particular one, it's a bit advanced. Pay close attention to it, and then you will enjoy this part. As we are talking about passing a parameter to a function, should I assume that we all understand what a parameter is? Can anyone tell me what a parameter is? Hello, guys.
Sir, is parameter and argument the same thing?
Yes, it's the same thing. Correct. Yeah, tell me what a parameter is or what an argument is.
Parameter.
Yes, what's the parameter?
Parameter is inside the parenthesis.
Yeah, what we pass to a function is a parameter. Yeah.
Yes, and it will be
You can
called.
tell us what I get that, Bashir. I know you know it. Let me ask somebody else.
I don't know it.
You don't know it.
No, like I'm following it.
I have issues. So
Mhm.
Yeah, tell me what issue do you have?
I've been battling. I've imported all this code that you share with us, and I've been trying to see if I can run it from my VS Code.
You've been
But
trying to run it on your
to run
PS.
it, and yes, but I've been receiving error.
What error are you getting?
Should I fully qualified error ID could not auto load module? Yeah.
Maybe you are importing something that you define something that you are not you don't need to do. Do you want to share your screen? Let me help you look at it.
Okay, sir.
By the way, I just push this code is online now. If you go to that link, you will see it there.
This new code that you're just
Yeah, I just push it to the repo. So you will see it there. If you go to the browser, if you don't want to download the entire thing, if you refresh this page, you can see my screen now.
yes, we can see it.
So this is the start point, and this is the code I've been running. You can see it here. This is the last thing I did. So it's there if you want to follow it. So share your screen, let me help you look at your issue, and then we'll continue from there. I want to take a step further, and I would like us to be carried all along. Are you sharing your screen or not?
Yeah, I cannot share my screen while other participant is showing. Okay.
All right, I've stopped sharing. Share your screen. You need to change directory to the directory of the code you want to run. Do CD. Where are you running your code from? Which one do you want to run?
It's
That's function type. So when you press function, just press tab. It's going to suggest for you. Press function and press type, and type function and press tab. All right, press enter. All right, do node space. Arrow function. You can do tab too.
JS.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, stop sharing.
All right. I think.
I guess we're all on the same page, right?
Yes, boss.
Okay, so
Wow, it's amazing.
I'm going to take it
Indeed,
a
amazing.
step further. Ridwan, do you understand what we've been saying?
Yes, sir.
Didayo, do you understand what we've been saying?
Yes, I do. Yes.
All right, Mr. Emmanuel, are you with us? Mr. Emmanuel is drinking tea.
What they already says.
All right, so I'm sharing my screen again and confirm if you can see my screen.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
You can see it.
All right, so we've talked about construction function, and then there's one function they call it high order function. Let me create another file for it so that it won't mess up with your skills that you've already acquired. I'm calling it lab2.js. So high order function, let me explain it to you from one of the functions I've created. High order function is like passing a function into another function like a parameter. Let me come again. High order function It's like passing another function into another function, like a parameter. So this is a function. This example is adding y plus x. And then we have a function that we call I order function. This guy is calling I order function and passing a function into it. So when he enters there, this guy is going to call that function and add x plus y, and then return the results. Is it clear?
No.
No,
Please
please
come
take that
again.
again.
It's gone again.
You know, before we are passing x, we are passing y, we are passing username into a function. This time around, we are passing another function into another function as a parameter. And the function we are passing it into is going to call this guy. Do you understand?
Is he looping it?
It's not looping, it's calling another function inside a function.
Sir, like there is an existing function. You're
This
not
is a
calling another
function.
function.
This is a function. This is
Mhm.
another function. So this function has the capacity of calling another function inside it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. What's
Yes.
the use of that return x plus y?
So this x of y will invoke this guy. It's going
Okay.
to invoke this guy. It's going to invoke it.
Can we use an example so
Okay,
it kind of sinks in more?
is it that the higher order function will be going to the first function we have declared or what?
Correct. It's going to call the first function that we declared. Do you understand?
Yes.
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir.
You don't.
Yes. yes.
No, sir.
Let's
no,
do
sir.
an example like the way like that's
You like simple interest, Abby?
let's do something like that.
It doesn't have to be simple interest, but instead of using this XY in more
All right,
ways.
let me think about an example too. All right, so somebody is taking loan from us, and then he has a bonus with our bank. Are we together?
Yes.
And then we need to calculate the amount that he needs to get. All right, this is the example. Somebody wants to take a loan from our bank. We need to calculate, we need to get a simple interest and remove the bonus we are giving him. We are giving him as a customer. Customer. I don't know how to spell customer. Take it like that. All right. So the rules to calculate is bonus. The rule to calculate is bonus. Bonus is the amount of years he has spent with us multiply by 10. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Who doesn't understand this statement? Let me explain it. The person is not in the meeting, Abby. He came, are you with us?
I'm with you.
You know when you are frying a corn for a blind man and you are not talking, you would think you are already using the corn. Please stop.
Mouth don't fool.
All right, so I have a function that I need to write that will calculate the simple interest. You know, I don't need to write the function again. I can go and bring my simple interest function here.
Exactly.
I can bring this simple interest
Serious.
function here and then put it here. I can remove all the jargons I've put before. I can remove all the jargons I've put here. All right, so I can remove all the jargons I put here. And I will say just return the simple interest. I'll just say return SI. So this guy is going to return the simple interest, just like this guy did. The following is I'm going to be relating it to each other. So there is a need for us to also, there's a need for us to also, there's a need for us. I don't need customer naming. This is simple interest. And then we need to calculate the bonus that is due for.
Okay.
I can say bonus.
Multiply by 10.
I can say function bonus. You take bonus like that. When I say function bonus, let me use my letter bonus. I can say function bonus is going to take a year that you have spent with us. And then the year that you have spent with us is going to return y times what?
X.
Times 10. Have you?
Yes.
That's the year you have spent with us. Are we together?
You close the bracket.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
It's auto suggest. That's how
Will not define well.
It's a parameter now.
Okay.
It's
Parameter, that's message.
parameter. Yeah, we don't need to define it. It's when we are invoking that we define it.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So our other function is now saying that if I need to, okay, let me use this total due. Let me call this guy total due to make it clear. Total due, so that it won't be too complicated. So this is bonus. Bonus.
Bonus is BONUS. NUS.
NUS. Bonus due.
Not double O.
Okay. I'll remove the single O. This is the bonus due. This is his bonus due. Abi?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is the bonus due. And then I'm thinking that I should go and I should allow them to pass this Y here. This is the year that I have spent with them. And then I do this. Are you?
Yes, sir.
So the value of this, the value that I wanted to return will be the value I wanted to return will be like what do we say? It's a rule is to calculate the bonus of answering with us. We need to get a simple interest and remove the bonus. Okay, we need to remove the bonus from
Simple interest minus bonus.
All right, so amount due is equals to
SI minus bonus due.
Bonus due. That's it. So, and then I'm going to return this. I'm going to return this. Have it? So this function will now work this way. I will call this guy call back, comma. I will pass the entire variable that I have here to this place. And then to do this, I will just say call back. Call back. I will pass this guy as a parameter here. I'll pass it as a parameter here and do this. So if I should invoke this particular function, it will call this guy. Do you understand? And then we'll return whatever results that come from it. Do you get? Who doesn't understand this? The same way we have it here. So if I need to invoke this particular guy now, this is how I will invoke it. I'll just say this. And then this guy will be this. I'll be invoking like that. And then whatever I get here, total amount to pay is equals to this. So if I say console.log total amount to pay is this.
I have issue.
Sir?
Line 9.
Line 9. Amount
Return amount due. Line 9.
Okay, that's true. So line 9. So I need to declare all these guys here. Let me copy from here. Print time. All these guys here. I'll put it here so that I'll be able to invoke it. And then I need the year. Year is equals to, let's say I spent 5 years with us. And then I can run this lab node lab 2. Okay, I need to go inside. See this, that node lab 2. You see, this is the amount of interest is going to pay.
0. But sir,
yes, sir, I'm with you.
hey, we are inside function simple interest that we are returning amount due.
Yeah,
Assuming
this is what is calculate the amount due. We are
Okay.
just calling this particular function inside total due. Remember, where it will be confusing is this name. Is this name. If I had put this name here, I will still get the same thing.
Thank you.
If I put this name here,
So
I
why
would
this
have gotten the
complication?
same thing. Do you understand? But the problem is they use callback. I don't know if it's a convention.
Okay, but if let's say we invoke this call simple interest and we pass in these arguments.
Say that again.
Let's say we invoke this simple interest function and we pass in these arguments ptry with their values. Are we not going to get the same result as this one?
We'll get the same thing. I'm just explaining it now. I'm explaining high order function. Do you understand?
Understand, sir.
I'm explaining high order function. You will get the same thing. You don't need to go through this route. But let me tell you why we do this most time.
Thank you.
So why we do this most time is because of you know what they call synchronous and asynchronous.
Yes, station and moving.
And asynchronous. So
Station and moving.
So synchronous is time delay.
Exactly.
If you need to process something, and then you need to hold the computer resources before you process another thing. I have a slide for it. I will explain when I get there. You need
Just
to
like
hold
email.
the computer functionality before you process another thing.
Exactly.
They will say it's synchronous. Asynchronous is that whatever you want to do, we'll continue doing it and we are not waiting for
Live.
anybody. We'll continue with our journey. When it's
Just
done, you will
just
go
like
and meet
email.
us.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Just like email and phone call.
So asynchronous and synchronous. So for asynchronous purpose, you'll be doing this callback most time. So in the future of what you'll be working with mostly, you'll be seeing something like a callback there. So you need to understand it very well. So they call something, do you all understand what I'm saying now?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Somebody is asking a question. Inkem? Yeah, what is it?
No, just be going. I'm lost, but just
I'm sorry, my light went off. I just came back.
How now? Why everybody?
It's Nepal.
And what was the last thing you heard?
Is when you are typing the comment.
The
All
video
right,
is
so-
there now.
Just the beginning.
The video will be there now.
Okay.
No
okay.
problems. I'll continue. When you send this something, we will look at it.
So, Ikem,
that.
do you understand?
I will watch the video again. I don't know where to start from, but I'll watch the video again later.
All right. So this is, I'm kind of building on what I'm teaching. If I lose you at this point, I won't be able to pick you again. Do you understand this function?
I understand the function. It's just that callback, simple interest, and all those mixing.
All right,
everything.
so I've changed this name now. When this guy is invoking this function, instead of passing a parameter, he's passing the entire function into
Okay.
this particular function he's calling.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
He's passing the entire function. See, if I say console dot log.
No, my own confusion was where that callback. I was trying to trace where the callback was coming from.
But you understand it when I change this thing,
I
right?
understand this one now. Yes.
So, but in most code that you see, they use callback. That's it on this week. So that's why I say, you see, it's a function. You see it here when I console log it. It's a function. We pass the entire code that you see here. We pass it inside this code. Do you understand?
Yes.
So for some reason, they call it callback. And let's get them, we call it callback. So this is another way, they call it callback function.
Wait, this callback, is it like a conventional thing in JavaScript? This one that is written in blue.
And they call it callback.
Okay.
And there's a terms or techniques, they call it callback. And they use it for asynchronous processes. So it's just callback. And then the callback and high order function, there's no difference between them. It's the same thing. Do you understand? So, and there are some cases, please pay attention to this. In some cases, that they will do a callback inside the callback, inside the callback, inside the callback. And before you know it, you will see a lot of callback inside callback, and they call it callback of L. And then convention at some point say it's confusing and make your code very difficult to read. And it says stop using it. Let me Google it and see if I can save that. Callback. How do I spell hell? Hellfire. Can someone spell hell for me?
H-E-L-L.
H-E-L-L.
H-E-L-L. E-double-L.
All right, so if you see callback of hell JavaScript, it's callback of L JavaScript, and then they have a situation where you have a callback inside a callback, and the whole thing was just going like that.
Main state.
Oh.
All right, this is an example.
See confusion.
You see, this is a callback of L. Inside a callback, they did a callback and a callback and a callback and a callback and a callback. And they call it callback of L. And then they said, callback is not the best thing to use. You can use it if you don't have a complex code. You see it along the line in your career, maybe when you are developing with somebody else, or somebody else is building something and they use callback there. So that is callback for you. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions
Yes.
so far?
Right. No.
Okay. Moving forward, we've talked about high order function, which is the one I was talking about, callback. High order function either takes other functions as arguments or return them as a result. They enable functional programming paradigm. And then we have default parameter. So there are some cases where you are calling a function and you are suspecting that your customer might not have a particular parameter you are passing. You can set a default parameter for it. Default parameters means that, by the way, let me push this guide too, so that if you're following it, you can, okay, let me push it later. So default parameters means that I'm going to create lab3. So if I have a function, I have a functions, and I need to calculate the interest. Let's say, let's still be using our this thing, the simple interest going forward. So I can have a function like this, and then to calculate simple interest. And I'm suspecting that the user that will call this simple interest will not pass parents, will not pass time, and then will not pass rates. I can, by default, supply what my parents will be, what my time will be, and what my rate should be. So by calling this function, if user did not pass any parameter, my code will not break. If I call this function, if I invoke it, it's still going to work. I'll say node my code is supposed to work. Start point. What's the customer? Okay, and pass removing this. And remove the customer. Moving the customer. If I run this, my code still work. Do you understand? Based on the default parameter I've assigned. So you can do a default parameter. Where that is useful is when you think sometimes user will not pass the parameter, and then you need to continue running your code. Sometimes when user pass just one parameter out of the two, my code will still work. So let's say what it pass is just 1 million, and they didn't pass the remaining parameter. So my code will still work. You know that the result is different from what we have earlier.
Yeah.
That is what we call default parameter. Do you have a question?
No, sir.
All right, I'm moving forward. I also have random function here. Random function is like a mathematical function where you can generate a random number in JavaScript. So I can copy this code and run it. This code I'll run it. We'll copy this code and run it so that I'll tell you what I'm trying to say there. So you can say lab 4.js. So I can say this. If I call this guy, it's going to give me a random number. It's going to give me a random number. Now, I can say console.log this. No. Generate function. All right, so I can run this. If I run this, it's going to give me a random number like 4. You see, it's giving me a random number. Please pay attention to every step that I'm taking. There's going to be something that I will build on. All right, so if you see this, it's generating a random number. So if I use this, this is going to do the printing, and it's much more like rounding it up to a floor or ceiling. So this guy is going to give me an integer. That's an whole number. That is not a decimal. The first one is going to give me a decimal. The second one is going to give me a whole number. Who has any question on this one? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Please don't make me feel like I'm talking to myself. Because
No, sir.
somebody-
No, sir, you are talking to us.
And because somebody will come and knock and say, sorry, who are you talking to? All right, so that's random number. I need to go to another function. We call it timeout. Timeout is like the way I was talking about asynchronous and synchronous. In JavaScript, you can set a timeout to say this script should run at this particular time. So when you run the code, the script will not run until the time you want it to run. So it allows you to execute code asynchronously after a specific delay without blocking the execution of the code. What we are saying is that if this code starts running, it will not wait for this amount of minutes. This amount of minutes is like 5 seconds, and then it will go to the end. So JavaScript, unlike other languages, will not wait for this guy to run. It will just go on its own. So let me show you so that I can demonstrate this to you. So I'm going to use lab 5 to do that. And then I put this thing here. If I run this code is saying that executes this particular line of code, this line of code, after 3 seconds. So if I say node lab 5, you see, we have starts and we have end already. It's after 3 seconds that this guy come out. JavaScript will not wait for it. It will continue. That is the beauty of asynchronous. So imagine you're trying to read a very big file from somewhere, or you're connecting to a database from somewhere. You don't need your code to wait for it before it runs. So that's the essence of this timeout. Are we together?
But sir, no,
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Sir, this timeout,
Yes.
does it mean that it will not run
It's going to run after
this particular code, console log inside timeout?
It will not run immediately.
But
Timeout is like gatekeeper. You know, when we are in school, we have one Baba that we call the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
In Yoruba, we call him Baba Ode. It's like the security man on the gate. If you are late to school and they say nobody should enter after 3 o'clock, the man will stand by his ground like say nobody is going. And then if the school close at a certain amount of time, you have to wait in school until that amount of time reached before you are able to go home. That gatekeeper will not allow you to go. See this timeout like a gatekeeper. and the time they give to it is 5 seconds. This is in nanoseconds. 1,000 nanoseconds make 1 second.
Yes.
So it's going to wait for 3 seconds before it runs. Let me tell you where this one is useful again. Let's say you are sending email to a server. And then the email to a server, there's some server that will see your mail as a spam. If you are sending too much mail.
Exactly.
So for example, some server will say, don't send more than 100 requests to me per second. So you use this kind of techniques to hold the function that is sending the mail for 5 seconds, for 2 seconds before you send another one to that server. Did I explain very well?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If it's not clear, I have a lot of way to explain. Please let me know.
Yes,
Oh, you have
the only
tried,
question the only issue that is not clear is that it will run only if the, let's say, the codes are, this code that we use as an example is many.
If
for
this
this
code is
particular
plenty, it will run. Baba they will run everything.
But for this
show you.
particular example, it will never run.
Wait. See this guy now that is calculating simple interest. Let's go and put it inside that timeout, not just console log. If we have something like this here, to not make it mix up, I'll put it here. Do you understand? I'm going to uncomment this. We all know the fundamental of how we got here. I'll bring the variables here so that I don't mix it up. I don't want to mess up with what you've known already. So if I put this guy here to calculate the simple interest after 3 seconds, calculate the simple interest after 0 seconds. After 3 seconds, if I run lab 5 again, you see, we have start and end, and then you run the simple interest.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, now it's clear. Yes, sir.
So if I want to show you properly, imagine, look at carefully. I'm going to remove some things. Don't miss anything. If I remove this totally, you remember arrow function?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is arrow function. If you miss arrow function, this is arrow function. Arrow function is like this.
Entirely.
So it's like we pass a function into this. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So we'll be bringing things, removing things from our knowledge. Don't worry, I won't talk about what you don't know, except if you don't pay attention to what I'm saying. All right, we'll take another step forward so that we'll cover a lot of things. All right, so I've talked about timeout. I've talked about asynchronous. That was when I was talking about the set timeout. And an example of asynchronous is this start and end that I mentioned the other time. So synchronous, run this. This guy will not go until this guy is run. That is synchronous. Asynchronous allow time interrupts where you'll be able to go without waiting for the other person. So there is a functionality that replaced the callback of error that I was talking about the other time. They call it promise. Are we guys together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when you hear promise, what comes to your mind, please?
Hope.
Correct. Any other person? Now only Mohammed Day here.
No, it's like you have said
That's
it.
plenty.
Tell me now, tell me, what comes to your mind when you say promise?
Well, like one
Rest
is
of mind.
assurance.
Assurance.
Okay. What again? Should I call him? I'll call him.
Like a pledge.
You that you talk, don't talk again. Let others talk.
Okay.
I will call name.
Okay,
oh.
sir.
Hope.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Damlola, do you have any idea?
Same as the
I
hope
say
and
it
things
now. I
like
just
that.
want to hear. I want to be sure you are not
Say
talking.
something
No,
else.
I'm here. I'm here. Yes.
Which one are you there?
I'm here, sir. I'm
So
hearing
what
you.
comes to your mind when you see promise?
Relationship.
Farouk. All right. So I'll use a real life to explain it, a real life example to explain it so that it will be clearer. So in JavaScript, a promise is a good way to undo asynchronous operation. It is used to find out if the asynchronous operation is successfully completed or not. So a promise may have one of three states. Is either pending, or it's fulfilled, or is rejected. So if it's pending, that means it's still processing. If it is fulfilled, that means it has completed. And if it is rejected, that means it has finished. Let me picture a scenario where you apply for a job somewhere. So the process the process they are processing your application, that means you are in pending stage. The moment they fulfill, the moment they admit you or they give you a job, that means it's fulfilled. And then there can be a situation where you are rejected. That means you are not given that employment. So those are the possible states that a promise can be. So this is the syntax for a promise. You say let promise equals to new promise. You have to use this keyword promise. And then you pass a function that takes resolve or rejected into that particular promise. And then whatever happen here, it will initialize the value back to the variable that is initialized to handle the response from the promise. So promise can either be fulfilled, rejected. If it is fulfilled, then you use this function, this particular keyword, then fulfilled. If it is rejected, you use this function to say it's rejected. Is it clear enough?
Maybe when we are
Yes,
seeing
exactly.
example, it will be
When we
very
do
clear.
the work.
Now you see the example, Abi. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so JavaScript promise chaining. So this is how it looks like. There are some times that you can take the result from a promise into another promise, into another promise, into another promise. For example, you can say that if I go to the, let's say now I want to go to the hospital, and then from the hospital, I want to go to the market. From the market, I want to go to the hospital. From office, I want to go to the, from house, I want to go to the bank to get the money that we use to do a medical checkup. When I'm done with the medical checkup, I go to the hospital, I go to the office or to the market. So promise will be like, this API is like, go to the bank, then go to the hospital, and then go to the office, then. So if there's anything that happened among these things, maybe any of them gets rejected, it ends up in catch. Are we good?
Yes.
So it's more of a conditional distance.
It's much more of conditional, but it's handling an
Only that.
async function. Another example of that is calculate the simple interest. And if the guy have interest that is more than a certain amount, then give him a loan. Do you understand? If you give him a loan, advertise to him to come and buy shoe. If he buys shoe, advertise it to him to come and buy bag.
Exactly.
But right from any of this one, if he didn't buy, if he doesn't have money, and
So
then
it
you
will-
reject it, it enters the error.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you
More
understand?
conditional, more switch.
Something like that.
Mm,
So this is what it looks like. This is a pending. If it is fulfilled, unfulfilled, then
implement.
it goes to another promise. Do you
I
understand?
understand this one, but
If
it's
it's rejected, it goes to catch. If it is rejected, so let me give you an example. I don't know if, I'm sorry for those who lost their mom when they are young. I just want to use this as an example. If my mom
Thank you,
is
sir.
going to the market and I say, Mommy, when you are coming back from the market, buy shoe for me, buy bag for me, buy this for me, buy that for me. And then, Mommy, if you did not see any of these things, if you did not see shoe, don't buy bag. If you did not see bag, don't buy this. Those kind of conditional statements can be used to explain promise and chain. And then instead of talking about bag and shoe and all those things, we can talk about real life things. So an example of a promise is what I have here. So this is promise chain I was talking about. This is a promise, and then it's going to resolve or reject. If a promise is rejected and then it fails, it will enter this catch. So when this is a promise function here, this is a promise function. This is the old promise function. When we invoke the promise function, we now put then, if this condition was successful. So I didn't mean that they use reject and resolve here. This thing will not enter here. But because they use reject here, it will enter here. But if it is resolved, it will enter here. So another example of that, do you understand what I'm explaining?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, another example of promise is this. Another example of promise is this. We initialize can to be one to be true by ourselves. And then we start a promise. We say that this is a promise. If can't is this, then resolve. If it is the other way, you reject.
Yes.
Do you understand? What do you think will be, what do you think this one will give as an output? Can somebody look at this code and tell me?
If it is resolved, then the output will be there's a can't value.
Let me
But
run
on,
it.
but on rejection,
There
there's
is
no
a count
can't
value.
value.
There is a count value.
There's a can't value here, which is true.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what will happen
Okay.
here?
Okay. Can't value. Okay. True. Or
Tell me what will happen there.
It's going to print out.
There is a count
okay.
value.
Either true or
Yeah,
false.
there is a can't value because it's true.
It's
Yeah.
true value. We already initialized it to true.
Yeah,
That is-
because it's true. So if you look at this, let me run this and then I'll now talk about what I wanted to say. See the promise. And then if I say node complete promise, if I run this, you see it's saying that this is a can't value, which is what you all agree that is going to show. So if I look at the promise chain that I have here, if I put it inside complete promise here, and then let's say I invoke can't value here. So it's saying that if it's successful, it's going to pass the parameter, whatever that you pass here, into the next value. Do you understand? And if it's rejected, it's going to come here. Do you understand? So if I run this guy now, this guy is going to invoke this promise. If I run this guy, you see, it said there is a can't value. Is there anyone that is not clear to?
Wait, the only question I want to ask,
Yes, I'm with you.
Hello, sir. Okay. Instead of coming to the command line, writing or the name of the file we created, why is it possible to run it directly from the bar up where the writer run?
I don't like running from there. It's possible to
Okay.
run from there.
Okay.
So when
Okay.
you get to some stage, you should be doing it this way. You can
Okay.
be run from there. That's
Okay.
just a lazy way of running code, Gary.
Okay.
Let's be doing it this way. Have you?
Okay, sir. Yeah, no problem.
All right. So who doesn't understand this? All right. Let me use the mommy example.
Oh God, this thing is handy. Hello?
Yes, in case we can hear you.
Please, can you go back?
Yeah.
Hey, please, where do you get results from?
I didn't get that.
This after count value dot then function success value, where do you get results from?
From here, from here.
Okay, okay,
From this guy.
okay.
I didn't mean that I say this is false now. If I say this is false now, what I'll get here will be different. You see, there is no count value.
All right.
All right, let me use the mommy market example. All right, this is a function. This is a function that return a promise. And then we have parameter resolve or reject, which is the standard when you are having a promise. I have rubber ball that I want my mommy to buy for me. I have a snack that I want her to buy for me. I have a new shirt that I want her to buy for me. So I'm checking here. If he's able to buy any of these things that I say she should buy for me, he should buy all. He shouldn't just buy one and say, take. I want her to buy all. And then if you buy all, I resolve. If he doesn't buy all, I reject. And then what do? I report her to daddy. But if he's able to buy all, I need to consume everything that she bought. So she's going to return rubber ball. She's going to return sneaker. She's going to return new shirts. And if this is where the function ends. If I'm invoking it, I'll just say, go to the go market. Mommy is going to the market. Then when he's back, item 1, all item purchased successfully. That means he has bought all the item. And then I say, then items. And then if the item activities, rubber ball, and then I say that return item. If he buys this, then, so each and every one of these particular guys will be like the parameters that I'm passing to the next then. This then, the parameter I return here will enter here. The parameter I return here will enter here. The parameter I return here will enter here. The parameter I got here will enter here. And it's going to be the input. Whatever I return here becomes the input that I'm taking into the next then. And then if there's any issue along the line, I write an error. After the whole thing, whether there's an error or there's a successful, I do a final, which is it comes back from the market. Who doesn't understand this example?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Tell me.
I can see that those items that you use in the example, none of them was being like used as a variable.
It's going to return is like an object. It's going to return like an object here. And I'm using this. If you see activities 1, activities 2, I did not really use it as an object. Yeah, you are right. But it can be used as an object.
Okay.
So you can use it to do something here. Do something here. Let me give you an example. let's say you are developing an application. A bank wants you to develop an application for their KYC. And then before you open an account in a bank, you need to fill the KYC form.
Yeah, I know your
You as a
customer.
backend developer is the one that will handle the KYC. There are criteria that somebody must have before you open their account. Can you tell me those criteria?
Yeah,
Lean.
national ID cards.
Wait, let me put it down.
BVN.
Means of identification.
All right, so what are the things that you need to have?
Name.
BVN.
NEPA bill.
NEPA
Utility bill general.
bill, that's utility bill, right?
Yeah.
What are the other things?
Birth certificates.
And passports.
It's not compulsory.
No, it's not.
It's not.
This one was up, sure.
These are the three things that you need.
These are the major, exactly. Yeah.
These are the three things that you need to have to create an account.
Passport too.
Yeah, passport or driving license, any government issued ID.
Identification.
That's
And
NIN.
recognized ID card.
Is that NIN,
NIN has covered that.
driver's license or whatever it is, or
All right,
international
so
passport?
let's call it identification. Identification, means of identification. You can call it means of identification, right?
Yes, sir.
These are the things that you must have before you open an account. So if I want to write this code and then do something like the markets, mommy's markets now, I will say that let me create another function here and I call it KYC.JavaScript. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is NIN, BVN, and then I have
Utility bills.
utility bill. So if I need to do a KYC, look at this mommy market example. I can copy it and use it to explain to you. I can call this guy. Let me remove this so that it's difficult for you to understand. All right, so I can say that create
Function.
account. All right, create an account. I'm expecting an object to be passed to it. And then I call it biodata. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Call it biodata. I'm going to remove the entire thing. Okay. And then I have this. So out of what I'm expecting there, for a function like this, what's wrong? I need to have something like this here. So for a function like this, I have biodata being passed here. I'm expecting biodata to be an object. I'm expecting biodata to be an object. And then what are the things that will be in biodata? I can have name, can have age,
Address.
I can have email,
Gender. Email, yes.
right?
Yes.
Let me focus on things I want to test. I can have
Gender.
age. Let me put age.
Date of birth.
Yeah, gender doesn't matter. Then that doesn't determine whether we should open an account for you or not. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Date of birth.
I can say 18.
Okay.
All right.
It's not.
comma. Let me use age so that it will be easier.
Mm-mm.
It's supposed to be data. I want to bring this guy here. I can say NIN. NIN can be
Any number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10 digital.
12, Abi.
Is it 12?
I'm not sure.
Let's just, don't worry. Let's assume it's 10. So BVN is how many digits?
BVN is 11. 11, I guess.
And
Mine
then
is 11. Billion is 11.
Ikem, you are saying something?
You are right. Vivian is 11.
Vivian is
BVN
11.
and NIN, they are both 11.
Vivian, NIN, they are both 11.
All right, BVN. Sorry. And then let me stop there.
Our NIN is string.
Our NIN is string. Am I not using string? It's string.
Okay.
Let's use string. Just
Is NIN string?
Oh.
It's just an assumption.
That's the problem when you have a lot of.
It's an assumption.
Just pretend as
Okay,
if I'm right.
okay, yes,
I'm right.
okay.
It's not a real-time
No
project now.
problem.
Yeah, just
Okay.
pretend as if I'm right. I'm just trying to explain this concept to you. Do you understand?
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we cannot open an account for somebody that is less than
18.
Do you understand? We cannot open an account for somebody that doesn't have BVN, or his BVN is less than this amount of character. This is 10 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 digits. So I will check for this guy and then reject if any of these conditions, 3 conditions is not met. And then resolve if they are met. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I will now say that when we pass this parameter into this particular function, are we together? I'm going to initialize some variable. I'll call one is age valid. Initial value will be false. And then we'll have others too. And then I will have is NIN valid. And then is BVN valid. Is BVN valid. And initial values will be false. So if I check for if dot h is greater than or equals to 18, I will say that age is valid. What does it suggest for me? It's true, yeah. And then I will do the same thing for others too. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if I've lost you, please stop so that I can quickly step back and then if this dot length is less than, just doing less than for argument's sake, less than or equals to less than 10. If the length of that is less than 10. Oh, so if it's greater than 10, it should turn into true. And then this guy too, if it is this guy, if this guy is less than 10, this guy dot length is greater than 10. All right, so I will now use if statement to check all these guys. I'll use if statement to check these guys. If they are all valid, it should resolve. If they are valid, it should reject. I'll just say if this and this, if they are all valid, it should resolve. What is it resolving? It should resolve with the data. You can resolve with the data. Data else. Rejects. Validation failed. Account would not be opened. Are we together? So if you see what I have here, this is it. You can either resolve or reject. And then if we are invoking it, we use this guy to invoke it. And then we catch error and go to the final. So if I want to use that in my code, I do KYC. No. Where's the one? Okay. Is it KYC? Okay. So if you want to run this, I'll come here, I'll do this, and then I'll invoke this function. I'll invoke this function. Let me just do one then. And then I'll catch the error. An error occurred. Error while opening an account. While opening account. And
Okay.
let's say
Last line.
account process completed. All right.
Okay, find out.
Account opening success. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to return biodata that was returned here. And then console log, console log. But before I return the biodata here, since all these guys are valid, I will give it the account number. Dot account number equals to, let me copy from one of the random function that I have. Is it here? Is it right there? I have one random function I expanded. Okay. Oh. All right, this is it. I just made this guy. That will be the account number. All right. So let me run this. If it runs, We'll look at it and explain again. All right, so this is node KYC. So there was an error, but account process is completed. Cannot reach property on divine age. It's not seeing the age here. Let me console log what I have here. Okay, I'm supposed to pass bio data in here. Farouk. Farouk. Farouk is not there. I need to check the length of this string. I can't remember if this syntax is correct. Yeah. And I this thing I put here is another programming language. All right, so this is telling me that error while opening an account, but account validation account could not be opened. So something must be wrong among this.
We say greater than 10, sir. The length
The length, Abby?
must be greater than 10. We have now.
Okay, greater than or equals to, yeah. That's
exactly.
correct. That's correct. So if I run this, it should work. Item is not defined.
Not defined.
Line 55.
Use bio data.
Okay.
Here, return items. We return
all right, so if I run this, you can see it has created an account for me, and this is the account number. Do we all understand this?
Can you please explain again, sir?
Yeah, so
All right, so I'm writing a function to create an account. Look at this function like a validator that will check whether the person is older than the amount of age that you say is older than. Look at this as something that we'll call a third-party API. API is like an application interface, or somebody that will go to NIN and verify whether this name is correct. And then somebody will go to the BVN and see whether this BVN is correct. So we automate the process of validating NIN and automate the process of validating BVN. If all these conditions are met, resolve means that pass it and say it's successful so that the necessary function can create an account for it. And then I say create account. The account number is this. I can call this account number. I can call this account number. I can call this account number. So if account number is created, we'll resolve. If any of this condition is not met, just say that validation failed, account could not be created. And then when a function calls this guy, after calling it, if it is successful, you now use this then statement to do any other condition that you need to do after a successfulness of this particular function. If it's not successful, you catch the error. and do something else. Probably you are going to notify the customer that the email address you submitted is not valid. Your age is below the limit. Kindly supply the normal age. Your BVN is not valid. Any other condition that could make account opening happen, you put it here. And then the final part is you display it here. Whatever happened at the top, this guy will always get executed. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Guys, how far? Should I continue?
Yeah, now.
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
We are together, sir.
All right, thank you. So that is promise. There is a functionality we call async await. Async await is a syntax in JavaScript used to write asynchronous code in a more synchronized looking way, making it easier to work with promise. This promise that we are doing, there are better ways of working with this instead of using the then. So async await means that I'm synchronizing with the particular promise. And then if the promise is successful, do this. So I will wait for it until it's successful. That is what async await means. If you look at this example now, this is a function that has a set timeout, the way I explained the other time. It's going to wait for 2 seconds before it resolves this particular function. And then when it resolves it, there is a function that we call async. You can only call a promise function inside async if you don't want to use them. So if you do this, it's going to wait till this guy resolve. This guy that is going to take 2 seconds to resolve. And when he finish, it's going to write out this function. It's much more like we want to call a function a promise. To call a promise, you need an async to call it. And then there will be an await, meaning that we are waiting for this function to resolve. Nothing will happen until that particular function resolve. And when it's resolved, you get your answers and then output it here. And then you move on. Who doesn't understand this?
Let's come back again.
All right. There is a concept that we call async await. There is a concept that we call async await.
Yes, sir.
So you remember my market function that I explained the other time?
Exactly.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. This is rubber ball. This is snack. This is new shirt. Instead of me using the dem function that I used the other time, I allow mommy to go to the market. Do you understand? And I
Yes,
use
sir.
this function to call it. The function is called async because it's going to have a wait inside it. If you don't put async in front of this function, it won't allow you to use a wait here. If I delete this, it's going to flag it. You see, turn it to red. So you need an async to call an await function. So to call this promise function, you know the other time I was doing then.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's different this time around. I just call it and wait for his response. So whatever response I get all the items that I bought from the market. I'm going to buy the rubber ball, the snack, and then buy the new shirt. Whenever it comes back, I'll be able to get everything I bought. I can display those things here. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And then if there is a problem, maybe it get rejected, I catch it on a try catch and then display it here. Report her to daddy.
Yes.
Is it clear enough?
It's clear, sir.
Any other question? Do you have questions?
No, sir.
Ridwan, do you understand this part?
I'm with you. I'm just trying to unmute myself. Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
All right. Data, do you understand this part?
Yes, I understand it. But practice is
Okay.
how it is thinking.
Huh?
Yes, I understand.
All right, thank you. Let me move forward. All right, I think Farouk had talked about array. I want to be sure you understand array. Can anyone tell me what they understand by array?
Yeah, storing multiple value in a single variable.
Okay. All right. Should I assume that they've explained array very well?
No,
You can just do
I'm
one.
just
Oh,
I'm just seeing it for the first time.
Can go over it again, sir.
All right. So you remember when we were talking about an example of object? You can use array as an object. For example, if we have to keep student profile, there's array here. Let me create another one and then explain later. Let's say student profile. So let's say student profile, for example, and then we want to declare it as an array. Let's say let's student underscore profile be an array. So in JavaScript, you can initialize your array like this. And then we can have a lot of things that we want to store in an array. It's definitely like we are creating interrelated data into one kind of single object or kind of single variable. I can have matrix number here. Matrix number here. And then that matrix number can be any matrix number that you use in your school. But when I was in school, we used 04, 06, 463. I won't tell you my matrix number so that you not go to my school and investigate. All right, so that's profile, this, and any other parameters that I need to add. I can have full name here. I can have full name here. And I can have email. I can have mobile number. So my mobile number can be 070-66666, something like this. And email can be so full name can be Farouk Muhammad. All right, let's say this is the full name. And then this is what they call an array. I can console log this. Console log this. Log. I use it by here. And console log this. If I console log this, it's going to show what I have in the array. CD dot CD array s go inside that. All right, so if I want to run this, I'll say node. Are you guys hearing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, you can see that instead of me having different kind of variable, holding student profile, having to be passing a single parameter, let's say I want to call a function, I have to pass matrix number, full name, email, and I can put it together into a function and pass it like an array. That is what an array is that's just how to explain an array. So we have different kind of operation on an array. An array has a kind of index element. When I was initializing this guy now, this is what you will call the index of this array. The index has matric number, full name, email, and mobile number. So an array has an index. If you have an array that has array of fruit, for example, mango, banana, orange, and apple. If you want to refer to the index 0 of this array, index 0 is the first element of the array. Array starts from 0. And then the next one is 1, the next one is 3, the next one is 4. So how many elements do we have in this array? Is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it starts from 0. It's not going to start from 1, start from 0. So if you want to modify the content of this guy, you just need to put the index in the variable that we use to initialize it and replace the content of the array. If you log this out, you will see that the second element, which is this, will change to grape. And then if you want to add more item into that array, you use push. If you do the name of the array, which is this, and you do push, pineapple will be added to the end of the array. And if you want to remove something from an array, you use pop. Pop is going to remove the last element of the array, since array is last in, last out. And then it's going to remove it. If you log it, you will see pineapple has gone out. And then if you want to loop through an array, this is how to loop through it. You can use for statement, where you refer to the index, the way we refer to 0 here. For example, if I'm going to run this code, it's going to start like saying I equals to 0. I think Razak treated for statement. And then you say I is less than foot.length, which is the length of the array. You say R plus plus, I plus plus, and then the first iteration you have 0. The first fruit is going to go to the root, which is the apple, and then output apple. The second iteration, I will have become plus plus, that is 2. It's going to it's going to go to, that is 1, plus plus is going to be 1, second iteration. And then high is 1. It's going to go to this place and display banana. The third iteration, I will be 2. It's going to go to the third element and display grape, since we've replaced orange from here. And that is how it works. So if you don't want to use index of an array, you can use this parameter, this for each statement. It's saying that for each element of that particular array, output this. So for each can be used to replace for statement. So it's going to look at the array here and pick each and every one of the elements here and then console log it instead of referring it as its index. And there's a functionality that you can get. What is the index of a particular variable? So for example, banana is going to return 1 for it because the index of banana is 1. That is what array will do for you. And then you can slice an array. Slicing an array means that between this and this number, just take the variables there and put it in the new variable that I have here. So it's going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just 4 elements here. It's going to just pick banana and grape. It won't pick index 1 and index 3. You just see banana and grape here. And then you can as well concatenate and put it into another variable. If you concatenate 2 arrays together, it's going to add them into the existing array. Kiwi, strawberry, I'm adding them to the existing array, which are apple, banana, grape, and mango. It's going to concatenate them and make them one array. And then you can sort an array as well. So sorting an array means that arranging them in alphabetical order. This will be useful for you whenever you want to display data in the front end. And they tell you that I want the matric number to show in the order of their matric number. There's some request that comes from people that manage education management system. So This is what you will use to sort it, to show it in that order. That is a quick explanation about array. Is there any question on this? Let me know so that I can go to another stage before we'll take a break and then we'll come back and do something else. Any questions? All right, I will assume that we understand that. So all these guys, I use this example when I was doing KYC. When I have this object that was passed here, I use the dots to get the age. I use the dot NIN to get the NIN. This explains the dot notation to access an object, just like the way we are accessing an array with index. We use the object name to access an object. All right, so to save our time, I'll quickly go to a class, and then go to import so that we'll cover this thing before we go for a break. By the time we come back, we'll do something else. Or what do we have after this? So let me check the timetable. So after, we're doing it. Okay. Let me close this advanced JavaScript by talking about class. Class syntax in JavaScript provide a way to define and create objects with a constructor, function, and method. I've talked about class when I was talking about some concept earlier. Can anyone remind me what I said about class? Have I been talking to myself?
You said when we get to the
No,
class,
sir.
you understand.
Did I say that?
Yes, that's what you said, though.
Yes, sir.
So you set me up, Abby. So can anyone, does anybody here know what a class is? What did you say, Mohammed?
You mentioned class when you were talking about construct. At the beginning of
All right,
function.
so most time when we are developing I'm going to open another folder here to explain this thing. When we are developing object-oriented programming language, we most time use we use class so that we'll be able to reuse some code. So it allows us to have some kind of inheritance in our code so that when we are doing something else, we'll be able to use the existing code to do it in another code. Most of the code that you'll be seeing after this, the next lecture that you'll be seeing much of classes. They are not different from what we've been doing. It's just like we are encapsulating them into a particular form. And it's like packaging it into a particular group so that it will be useful somewhere. So class is like a blueprint for creating an object. So you can literally say it's a particular data structure. And then it provides initial value for or state for a kind of attribute that you want to use. So what am I trying to say? I can say that I want to create another folder. I can say that the way we have I can say human being. Human being as a class, let me see it as an object. So like I said from this example, to declare a class, you just say class this, and then you do a constructor like this. So to invoke that class, you do like this. Let me just copy this and use this. So I'm not talking about cats now. I want to talk about human. This is a class, human. For every class that you see, what first goes wrong is their constructor. Constructor is like the entry point to a class. What did I call a constructor?
Entry
An entry
points.
point.
Into a class, yeah. So constructor is an entry point into a class. So let's say there is human being and we are developing an application to allow human being to walk, to speak, to talk. Human being can walk and human being can sleep.
You can eat also.
Can eat
Can
also.
talk. Eat now.
They can eat.
Can sleep, can talk.
All right, let's stop at this. So you can have a lot of functions packaged together. And most time when you are developing your class, you have to put related item. You have to put related item into your class. So don't go and put what is not related to human class. Let's say now you want to do a function that will enable a car to drive itself, and you are now putting it in a class. You are breaking some kind of convention called I've forgotten. I think it's rule of thumb. So instead of developing an application, instead of developing different kind of function to enable human being, like for example now, this particular class will be generic enough to work with any human being that wants to use it for. For example, if Mohammed is the new human being that wants to use it for, Mohammed should be able to use this particular class to talk. Mohammed should be able to use this particular class to talk. And then this class again should allow him to speak. This class again should allow him to work. So we should not create one for Farouk, create one for Abbas, create one for Razak, create one for Inkem. So one single class should be able to work for all the human beings that will be using, that want to build this application for. So if I run this code now, I'll be able to invoke any of the function. You remember the way we invoke function the other time?
Yes.
So we should be able to invoke all these functions from this class. So I can go to see the class. I want to run this particular class, and then I can say node human being. You see, say Mohammed speak. So all the functions that we have been doing the other time, we can have simple interest here, we can have compound interest, we can have function that will get the NIN, the one that will get all other things that we want to get. Do you understand?
Yes.
So there are some situations where you have a class. Just give me like 10 minutes, I will go for a break. Let me finish this so that I won't come back to this again. There's some situation that will have some kind of function in another file. Let's say you want to do something else again, and you've done this again. You don't want to redo this particular function. For example, let's say they have alien. We have alien now. And then alien is another class. We don't know what alien can do, but they said alien can do what all human can do. Alien can do all what human can do, and we start developing for alien too. And then somebody is saying that maybe you've done something for human being. Alien can do the same thing. And I say, okay, I can reuse the alien, I can reuse the human and use it for the alien. And then how do I reuse it? That is what is taking us to the next slide. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. All right, let me explain it. So if I say that I want to use it for alien too, I will just come here and say that I will export this guy. Let me see if I have an example. I don't have example here. I'm coming now. All right, so I will just need to export this particular class here. I'll just need to export this guy here. I'll just say export default, and then I'll put the name of the class. I'll put it here. So if I export this particular class here, I will go to the alien class that I need it and import it here. So this is another file. I will just say import human being. And then I'll say from. If I say from, and I'll put dots. Since they are in the same directory, I'll just say dot human being. So I can put a column in. So if I import it here, I can now initialize the way I initialized it the other time. I can say that var, I can say that human objects is equals to new human being, and then I'll pass the parameter, which is either Muhammad or Farouk. If I pass Farouk here, I'll just say human object. All the attributes that are inside that place, you can see they are all here. Can speak, can walk, can do anything. I'll just say walk. So instead of me running the human being class the other time, I will just run this particular alien now. And then I can say node alien, and then you'll see can work here. Everything is fine. As I say, you cannot use import.
We're using human there. We define class as human, not human being.
Okay. There's an error somewhere. It's saying that human import from this.
The export statement, did we change it?
I'm coming. Let me change this.
Let's go back to human being and selection.
This is supposed to work. One load motor. Okay. I'm not impossible without a motor. npm init. By the way, if you are running a Node.js application, you need to do npm init like this. And then coming. Import email from this. Seeing something here. Import is correct. I know import is outside module. Not import statement outside module. Line 1. So yes, we set time. What do you import this? Using
So
this.
do we need to put the extension for the human being we are importing from?
No. It's Node.js that shows
Okay.
that error. It's not
Okay.
the code.
Okay.
It's Node. It's saying that it's Node that is showing. It's a node that is showing the error. Come on, let me check something.
Are we importing it from a directory, human beings?
What did you say?
Are we importing it from a directory, human beings, separate directory?
No, it's the same it's inside the same directory.
So why are we importing using that statement, import human?
Why are we doing what? Tell me.
Why are we using that directory? Dash slash human being.
No, it's not. It's inside class directory. Let me change the name of the file.
So we change this now.
Let's go for the break. I will resolve it before we return.
Okay.
Let's come back by 3 o'clock so that I will continue with.
Okay, sir.
Continue with GitHub. I will just take 15 minutes out of our class and close down 1 hour. Then we'll be good like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I assume there is no question.
For now.
All right, thank you. Later.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.